So, morning to all. So, today the topic to be discussed is nasal polyposis. Nasal polyposis, you have, excuse me, you have commonly heard about it. So, coming to its introduction, yeah, abnormal loose edematous mucous membrane that emanate from the portion of nasal mucosa or the paranasal sinuses. These are the benign polyps. The commonest benign polyp, so it can be benign, it won't be malignant at any cost. So nasal polyps, it's an endoscopic view of the left nasal endoscopy. In this and the left nasal cavity, we can see the polyp protruding from the uncinate process. So next will be the left anterior nasal cavity showing the adroconal polyp which pushing the inferior turbinate to the one side. So coming to the pathophysiology, mostly it's unknown. It's a chronic inflammation, the autonomic nervous system dysfunction. It's due to the genetic predisposition, allergic versus non-allergic, and in certain non-allergic conditions such as cystic fibrosis of 6 to 48% have polyp. And in case of Young syndrome, Churg-Strauss syndrome. So this is the pathophysiology of nasal polyposis. So this is an CT view which shows the sinuses of the patient. This is with cystic fibrosis. So coming, the polyps are more common in patients with non-allergic asthma, that's of 13%, than allergic asthma in case of 5%, and in 3000 atopic patients of 0.5% have polyps, or it's noted by Norlanter et al. At 1999. So the frequency, adults it's of 1 to 4%, and children is of 0.1%. All races and social classes, and males, it's in the ratio of 4:1 in adults, and it's an increasing incident with the age group. Mostly the adults of 1 to 4%, and children is rare of 0.1%. And it's of equal in all races as well as the social economic classes. It doesn't have the differentiation in that. It has the incidence with the increasing in the age. Presentation, there will be a asymptomatic. There will be a airway obstruction in the airway, postnasal drip, dull headache-ness, snoring, rhinorrhea, loss of smell, that is anosmia, or decreased in smell, that is hyposmia, epistaxis, obstructive sleep apnea, craniofacial abnormalities, as well as optic nerve compression. So coming to this, they are asymptomatic. They have airway obstruction, postnasal drip, dull headache-ness, snoring, rhinorrhea, hyposmia or anosmia, epistaxis, obstructive sleep apnea syndrome, craniofacial abnormalities, optic nerve compression. So this will be the presentation of nasal polyp. Mostly it will be asymptomatic, and then it comes such as the airway obstruction, loss of smell, headache, snoring, rhinorrhea, all those things, right? So differential diagnosis of nasal polyposis. They are encephalocele, gliomas, dermoid tumors, and then the papillomas, nasopharyngeal angiofibromas, rhabdosarcomas, lymphomas, neuroblastomas, sarcomas, chordromas, as well as nasopharyngeal carcinoma. Encephaloceles, gliomas, dermoid tumors, papillomas, nasopharyngeal angiofibroma, lymphoma, any neoplasms in the nose can be differentially diagnosed without nasal polyp. So the investigation, the common investigation is CT. So the anterior sinus appreciation of the left maxillary sinus. And the histological finding is the pseudo-stratified ciliated columnar epithelium, the thickened epithelial basement membrane of edematous stroma. Histological findings, there will be eosinophils of in 80 to 90% of polyps, epithelial damage as well as ciliostasis will be seen. The mucosal swelling as well as the hyper responsiveness will be also seen. Also, the neutrophils in 7% of polyps, and the clinical features of primary ciliary dyskinesia and Young syndrome, poor response to the standard treatment, and non-Ig mediated degranulation will be also noted. The histamine levels in polyps of 10 to 1,000 times higher than the serum levels. The immunoglobulins normally unaffected of IgA2 and IgE higher in middle and inferior turbinate polyps. So these are usually classified into two types. So that is, one is the ethmoidal polyp and other is the androgonal polyp. So ethmoidal polyp is the seen bilaterally, and androgonal polyp usually it is of unilateral. So ethmoidal polyp, it lies anteriorly, and the androgonal polyp usually it lies posteriorly. So how does the polyp looks? Usually the polyp is a pedangulated mass which is a grape-like structure which is pearly of appearance and which doesn't bleed or touch. So this is important, doesn't bleed or touch. So clinical examination while using a bull eye lamp with a head mirror, you view to the nasal cavity, that is anterior rhinoscopy. Anterior rhinoscopy, in case of ethmoidal polyp, bilateral it will be present. There will be a white glistening mass present in the nasal cavity. So if we want to clearly investigate, we have to go for the investigation such as CT, or we can do direct nasal endoscopy in our clinical OPD. So through this nasal endoscopy, we can see the clearly from where it arises and how it looks, and we can diagnose, like comparing relating to the differential diagnosis, and come to a conclusion that it is a nasal polyp. So coming to the polyp, so it has the pathophysiology we can see. So other usual clinical features is the nasal obstruction, loss of smell, that is it can be decreased in smell, that is hyposmia, loss of smell is anosmia, and there will be epistaxis in certain cases, and there will be dull aching headache due to this air obstruction, all as well as the blockage of sinuses. There will be the headache will be seen. So ethmoidal polyp, which arises from the ethmoids, and the androgonal polyp, which arises from the maxillary antrum. So here in this ethmoidal polyp, coming to the investigation. So investigation, so we can do the computer tomography, or we can investigate the clinically we have to examine and find whether it's an ethmoid or anthraconal polyp, and then we can go for the particular treatment. So coming to the management of the nasal polyposis. So oral and nasal steroids, it helps a lot to shrink out the polyp. The high dose prednisolone and the nasal steroid for 20 days will eliminate the 50% of the polyp. So lower bioavailability in modern nasal steroids and poor response in certain groups. And intranasal injection as not effective. Intranasal injections are not effective in case of this polyp. Immunotherapy as well as the diet also have a no effect, and immunotherapy will be having a lesser effect in case of polyposis. High dose prednisolone of nasal steroids will definitely nasal steroids, the combination with the fluticasone or yes, nasal decongestants, which helps a lot to shrinking out the nasal polyp. So next will be the continuation of the treatment. Surgically, how we can excise the polyp. So traditional polypectomy, using the microdebrider, endoscopic, functional endoscopic sinus surgery, recurrence, there will be multiple small polyps common, large and anthraconal polyps are less. So coming to the treatment, so traditional polypectomy, the polypectomy before this invention of the microdebrider, it's a powered motor. Microdebrider is a powered motor. It's an electrical instrument which helps to a lot in debriding the polyp from the nasal cavity. So traditional polypectomy, we use it's a conventional method. Normally these days we use this microdebrider. As well as in case of functional sinus surgeries, also that if the spread is massive, such cases of anthraconal polyp, it's better we do the functional endoscopic sinus surgery. Hence, we can prevent the recurrence of the disease if you have totally have evacuated the disease from the sinuses. Okay, so recurrence, the multiple or small polyps are very common. The large and the anthraconal are less. So coming to the uh, complications of this surgery of polyp surgery, that will be definitely there will be nasal obstruction due to the nasal pack will be kept, so the nasal obstruction and soakage, all those things we have to note. So after the surgery, nasal irrigation should be done, as well as nasal cleaning should be done. Also, the use of nasal steroids post of surgery is very important to avoid the recurrence of the disease. So nasal polypectomy is its nasal polyp which have a stalk attached to the medial maxillary wall. This is what this anthraconal polyp. This is what which has attached to the maxillary antrum. And this is using a microdebrider. It's an electrical instrument where it has a blade at its tips. You can see something like a probe. It's an microdebrider. It has a rotating blade on its tip. So wherever we want to cut the polyp, if I just place it over there, it sucks and then cuts down the polyp. So it helps a lot in this surgery, microdebrider. So coming to the summary of the disease, it is common condition in adults. Etiology is not fully understood. A majority are not allergic in nature, and the treatment can be effective. And even with surgery, the recurrence is mostly common. So this is about briefly about the nasal polyp. So we have to understand what is nasal polyposis. Nasal polyposis is an abnormal loose edematous mucous membrane that is emanate from the portion of the nasal mucosa, paranasal sinuses. So benign polyps, a nasal polyp. This is an endoscopic view that we have seen. We can see a pedangulated mass which is pearly, which glints, which have a shiny look. This is what we can see in the anterior rhinoscopy when examining the polyps. We can see this excellent view of the polyp, which never bleeds on the touch. So that is the differential diagnosis we have to have in our mind while examining the polyp. So other things which bleed on touch mostly is the rhinosporidiosis, any neoplasm, malignancies, everything will bleed, but polyp never bleed because being a benign disease. So presentation, it will be asymptomatic mostly, and there will be a airway obstruction. There will be postnasal drip due to the draining down of the mucosa posteriorly, as well as dull headaches will be present, snoring, rhinorrhea, hypospia, ranaspia, epistaxis, obstructive sleep apnea, craniofacial abnormalities, as well as optic compression. So differential diagnosis, we can plenty of things for that. So histological findings, we have seen about that, and treatment we have well discussed. So that's about the polyp. Thank you.